and just to touch upon something that I saw on Twitter, right? Now, before the game, 4 hours before the game, the Arsenal Twitter handle updated their fans saying that there's 4 hours to the game, bolding the letter 4, and then highlighting Arshavin's 4 goals. And after the game, because Liverpool won 4-0, that tweet just blew, man. And everybody was just bantering us.
Hello and welcome to another recording of the Al and Jerry podcast with me, Jerry, and my buddy Al.
What's up, guys? Another week and another manager gets axed. We're all here to be talking about it.
Ollie's off the wheel. Ollie's off the wheel.
No, we've got to sing it. It might be the last time we actually sing it live. We sing this majestic, iconic song, Ole is at the wheel. So, of course, could be one of the last times. But yeah, definitely happy to talk
about the wheel, I guess. Huh?
He's off the wheel. Yeah, he's off the wheel. The wheels have fallen off.
Yeah. I think condolences goes out to all the other fan bases out there. I think United fans is there for celebration, but my condolences goes out to all the banter merchants, all the jokers, and all the staunch Ollie supporters from Liverpool.
The Ole-ness.
Yeah,
definitely.
So as you know, banter aside, United came up with a club statement that they have decided to part company with club legend Ole Gunnar Solskjaer after 3 years. I think it's just about 3 years of his tenure as a manager. So just to read out the official club statement for you guys, Ole will always be a legend at Manchester United, and it is with regret that we have reached this difficult decision. While the past few weeks have been disappointing, they should not obscure all the work that he has done for the past 3 years to rebuild the foundations for long-term success. Ole leaves with our sincerest thanks for his tireless efforts as manager and our very best wishes for the future. His place in the club's history will always be secure, not just for his story as a player, but as a great man and a manager who gave us many great moments. He will forever be welcome back at Old Trafford as part of the Manchester United family. Michael Carrick will now take charge of the team's forthcoming games while the club looks to appoint an interim manager to the end of the season. So that was the club statement, guys, and this is what Ole mentioned. This club means everything to me, and together we're a good match. But unfortunately, I couldn't get the results we needed, and it's time for me to step aside. I'm very, very proud. It's one of those things you dream of in your life. It's been a ball, and it's been absolutely enjoyable from the first to the last minute. I'm so honored and privileged to have been trusted to take the club forward, and I really hope that I leave it in a better state than when I came. And he was a little bit emotional as well during the interview. And another thing he said, Al, which I thought was pretty interesting, he said both the times he left Molde, they won the league the year after. So I guess there's a little bit of optimism there. Maybe is it false optimism? What do you think about the sacking? I think we've made our views very clear, Al, me and you, I think from the start, and we know what's missing. And no disrespect to him, I think he is a responsible man. I think he shouldered the blame a lot of times, and he was under a lot of pressure, but I guess now he can slowly let all that go and just enjoy the matches as like a former player and a former fan, and still have a role in the club. I still feel he will have a role in the club, but yeah, well, what are your thoughts on it, Al?
Definitely plenty of optimism. I think the title is definitely out of question for Man United, but we'll speak about their managerial options in a bit. I think when you look at Solskjaer, I think if you just base it purely on stats, right? I think he's second to Mourinho, right? And yes. I think if you consider like most trophies, most this and most that, just most purely on stats. Yes. Yeah. I think Mourinho beats him in that, right? And of course, I think as you were mentioning off air also just now, the last couple of games has really damned his stats big time. However, this is what I'd say, and this is of course the objective assessment, and we try to keep it objective all the time, you and I. So we look at this, and I honestly think that he's done a lot of good, but he's also hit the ceiling or reached the ceiling for his expertise and capabilities for Man United as well, right? I think if you look at Solskjaer, what he's done, he's come in, he has, in a way, made a really toxic place after Mourinho, one which there was optimism, there was belief. We've got to remember, last season, he was the manager that actually led United to the top of the table and one of the first post-Fergie. That's a big deal if you really think about it. That's progress. Of course, no Man United fan, I think, would be settled with getting second place and getting runner-up in a European competition, obviously. But there was definitely progress. But I think the progress hit the ceiling after last season, and I think that's where the problem started to creep in. You know, when you've got a system and then the second season comes in, teams know your system, teams read your systems, teams try their best to counter against your system. And of course, an addition with another player who's always going to be in the starting lineup, who doesn't exactly play perhaps to what Ole has been building over the last 2 years, would require a certain tweak in tactics. And I think that's where he failed. Does he warrant the sack? Definitely. I think he should have gotten sacked, if you really ask me honestly, after the Villarreal game, because that was already alarm bells just ringing, you know, heavily, really, very honestly, to be looking at it. Of course, they had Liverpool and that was shambles. But really, honestly, I mean, if you look at it, the sacking, there's two things, right? It came from Man United, and I think Manchester United as a club, they've got to really, really be shrewd and smart and really, really importantly good in who they pick next. Because you look at Chelsea a season ago, they were in somewhat a similar situation. You remember, Jerry, when they sacked Lampard, all was not going well, and you know, nothing was going well for them. It looked like they had no tactics. Only Mason Mount was the only one which was firing for Lampard. Everybody else was playing, you know, badly and things like that. But of course, Tuchel came in and somewhat turned it around. And looking at it now, they're top of the league, arguably one of the best teams in the league.
And to say, like last year, dude, Rudiger was nowhere near that team.
Yeah, Rudiger, exactly. So Maguire could just pull the Rudiger, you know, very honestly, if you get somebody who's going to...
And even Jorginho, there was times where people were questioning, people bantering Jorginho as well. He was like, you know, being bantered in a lot of ways. But I see what you're saying, Al, because I mean, one of Ole's achievements, I feel, last year was that he went on that away run, right? That run away, right? Yeah. And what I feel that was missing after this season, especially, is just the efficiency of Bruno Fernandes. Like you see, Bruno Fernandes, when he first came under Ole, right? He was so efficient, and he was like the focal point of the team. But even what seemed like United's brightest spark has sort of been extinguished. You know, I mean, aside from the first game of the season, which was against Leeds, and I think United really, you know, roller coasted through that game. But after that, even Bruno Fernandes has looked off, and he's always been the one to drag United out of a lot of sticky situations. And I definitely think you can see that as well with Sancho. You know, Sancho coming from an attacking-minded team, coming from, you know, a clear role in that Dortmund team, and now in the United team, it's like he's got no identity in that team.
Yeah, he's lost. They look lost. He looks like, you know, he doesn't know. He looks an average player, you know, from what we've seen in Dortmund. And, you know, this is, to be very honest with you, I don't think a player turns rubbish overnight, you know.
No. He
doesn't
just
happen
doesn't
that
have
way.
clear instructions, I think.
There is no clear
like
instructions, you know, because that's how football works today. This is what I'd say about Ole. You know, I'd say that he did a lot of good, you know, because we cannot discredit that. I think if you really look at it last season, teams like Man City and Liverpool, the top teams in the English Premier League, they look at Man United and they think, this is a tough fixture here, you know. And I think that's got to credit Ole in some way, you know. I think that when Mourinho was there, when Van Gaal was, well, maybe Mourinho more to Mourinho, I think Man United's play has always been very, very, very backward in a lot of ways. But I think with Ole, he changed that. And there was a sort of a renaissance, I would say. But again, this season was the season to show that they're actually title contenders. And of course, that's the
and
next
to
step.
reach that next level, basically,
Yeah, the
and to
next level.
work towards it.
That's
Yeah,
where the problem was. So
that's
I
where
think he did good, but he fell short. And
Yeah.
ultimately, he fell short really badly. And of course, he deserved the sack. But, Man United, honestly, looking at it very objectively, it's still early. What we're not in December yet. I think the league is out of reach, but the Champions League isn't, the FA Cup isn't, all these competitions are not. And again, they could do a Chelsea if they get the right appointment. I hear Pochettino is interested. Not sure.
In the club statement, though, they said that they would have an interim till the end of the season and probably strike a deal at the end of the season. But when it comes to the business end of the Premier League, right?
Yeah.
A lot of these people, they don't mess around. They don't wait for this
Yeah.
opportunity. Like,
Yeah.
I think
Exactly.
it'll be interesting because now that the scapegoat has been removed or the scapegoat is out of the way, it will really reflect upon the management of the club,
Yeah, definitely.
and the direction of the club of how they deal with the situation. Because I feel removing Oli is just a start, right?
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
start of whatever rebuild process, or it could even go worse, right now. That's why I think the reaction to this from the club has to be very strong because
Very important. Yeah.
you see how Daniel Levy did it now. And a lot of United fans have said like there's a missed opportunity there because
Yeah,
immediately
exactly.
Nuno got the sack and he got the man that he really wanted, and to get Kantè in when the season has already started, I can imagine it probably wasn't easy, but that's how ruthless Daniel Levy was in his discussions and in his dealings.
Yeah. And mate, what I honestly say, I think Conte thinks it's a missed opportunity as well. He must be scratching his head saying, if only I waited 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
think
no, yeah.
he's still scratching his head watching Emerson Royal play on the right hand side.
Yeah. Yeah. He'd be saying, I'd
Oh
rather have
man.
Fred and
Yeah,
McTominay.
he's like, come on, man, my best striker doesn't even want to be here. But
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I mean, but you see what Sergio Reguilon said over the weekend. What he said is they were basically asked, the interviewer asked him, how has it been? Has it been great under Conte? He said, no, it's been the worst 3 weeks of my life because of constant running and constant running.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's how he conditions the team, and
That's how it's done. Yeah, yeah,
you
exactly.
can clearly
Totally
see a
spot on.
difference in that Spurs team. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. They
I
look
saw
resolute.
Harold. I saw Harold chasing the ball down.
Yeah,
Harold,
yeah.
oh
Who would have
Harold,
thought? Saint
look,
Harry.
it looked like Harold Kane went missing, for a few weeks, but then he was
Yeah,
back.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but so I mean that is the current situation. I do feel the Manchester United, the board need to make some decisions and make some quick decisions
Yeah.
and
The
and
right
and,
decisions ultimately. I think
and
that's
start the
very
rebuild
important.
process as quickly as possible, really.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
enough of haggling for managers and trying to find the right one. If there is a manager candidate, there are a lot of candidates out there, and a lot of
Yeah.
candidates who would, in a heartbeat take the United job. So we're not really going to spend too much time talking about this because there's going to be more developments, and maybe one day we will do a video where we discuss the different managers after Sir Alex Ferguson,
Yeah,
obviously.
definitely.
Legend.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I guess the final question here is, was Ole the right man to take United to that next level? For me, I guess I would say Ole tak boleh lah. Huh?
Yeah, ultimately no lah, no lah. The
Ole
wheels
tak
have
boleh
come
lah.
off badly,
Yeah.
There are no wheels anymore. The wheels are gone.
Yeah.
There's no more wheels.
At least his buddies in Sky Sports can go
Yeah.
back to being
Yeah.
their
Yeah, no,
observant, very
I
cool
honestly
dogs.
think, I think Gary Neville must be the most relieved man in Manchester. No more haggling every
Exactly.
single week. He's going to prove a point every single week.
Finally the questions about Oli can stop and they can focus on other
Definitely.
things.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, but I think like Al mentioned there just now, I think there are still United are within reach of a few cups and a few cup
Yeah,
competitions
yeah,
as well, and they could still make a late surge for top four and even top three. They could challenge that top three, and
they
whoever
could. Yeah, it's not out of reach. Definitely.
not
Yeah,
out of reach. but the right decisions need to be made, and I guess that's all we have to say about that, Al. We could get into the United Watford game, but it seems like it was just going to be another Ollie discussion and how it didn't work,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
But
Tactics was a disaster.
briefly, what I read about the game, because I didn't watch the game, I think Al watched the game and he can give you a clearer picture there. But what Ranieri made Watford do was study, that's what Josh King said basically, was studied that the way Liverpool pressed United, you know. And it seemed like Watford had pressed United really from the get-go,
Yeah,
and
definitely. Yeah.
yeah,
And again, that's managerial tactics from game to game. With United, on the other hand, I don't see how they're playing against Watford, trying to beat Watford. Watford has got many deficiencies in terms of defense. We saw that. Ranieri is a really good coach, let's not discredit him. But what I think is that you target their weaknesses. There was
yeah,
nothing like that. And again, that's the funny thing with Solskjaer. Man, we're not going to get into that, right? Because we've just mentioned that there was there was no active change to change any form of tactics.
right,
There
right.
was nothing. There was basically the same mistakes being carried on. And again, you got to expect better from your captain, Jerry. I mean, I watched
Yeah.
the game and I know people are saying that things like this
I
happen,
think
it's
half
just
his
not
head
your
was thinking
day.
about the night out that he was gonna have after the match.
Yeah, yeah, no, cupping ears didn't actually go to plan then,
Yeah,
it didn't look exactly, but I mean, seriously, your captain has got to be doing better than that. He's the one who's going to be steadying the ship. He's the one that's going to be leading from the front. He's the one that's got to be giving you a 7 out of 10, even in a
yeah,
bad way day or a bad performance. You look to
yeah.
captains like that, you know, you look at people like Henderson, Van Dijk, when he doesn't play. And I mean, when Henderson doesn't play,
Yeah.
they rarely give you this sort of
Even
diabolical mistakes.
Jorginho for Chelsea,
Yeah, for
and
Chelsea,
even
even
Ruben Diaz recently for
yes,
Man
yes.
City as well.
Even on bad days, I'm not saying that your captain is going to miraculously win you every game, but this is just, it was
To steady the
diabolical, I
ship
think.
out, to steady the ship,
Yeah,
to
steady the
stop
ship.
the ship
You
from
know,
rocking,
you
because there
you
are going to be rough waters, and a lot of times you're not going to
exactly,
be able to
exactly.
control the ship, but you need a captain there who understands his workers and
Yeah,
understands
yeah,
his tailors, lah. And they really need to pull together during those rough moments, which I feel that
definitely.
I
You,
think,
you look at the
yeah,
traditional captains, your Keens, your Vieiras, your Gerrards. They very rarely
exactly.
had a
Yeah,
four of a
I
four
think
of a
I
ten
think a
or a three
good
out of 10.
comparison there, Al, would be with John Terry, because there were
Yeah,
a lot of times he
exactly,
was challenged as well. But and
exactly.
to be honest, I have to say, Al, because I feel Maguire has been the most vulnerable in this time under Ollie,
Of course,
and when
yeah,
your
yeah.
captain is the most vulnerable, it really, it doesn't give confidence, it doesn't
It
breed
doesn't. It
confidence. It
doesn't.
kills the
Because
confidence of the
he's the one you look to.
yeah,
You know?
exactly, exactly. Like you see with the way John Terry played, to have a centre back as a captain is never easy because centre backs are usually the ones who, get the blame when things go wrong. They can have a great game for 85 minutes, concede a goal, and be slated, right?
Yeah,
But the way
yeah,
John Terry handled himself, it's like nobody could touch him, and he was a rock,
yeah.
real foundation upon which that Chelsea team was built upon. So I feel Maguire, I mean, he still has room to grow. I feel he still has a lot of things to learn. But if there's someone there who can turn him into that rock, Al, I think, yeah, I think it's just going to breed confidence for the whole team.
Again, it's coaching, and
Yeah,
he was a
exactly,
different player at Leicester.
exactly.
And
Even
one
under
tends to
England,
ask
Al,
what's the difference.
Under Southgate in England as well.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all to do with tactics. It's all to do with the defensive line you have in front of you. And at the moment, Man United have got none of those things, and it's showing. And of course, credit to Watford for taking the chances. I mean, they aside from the two penalties that were slightly horrifying. I mean, they were actually really good on the day. They were really good. They
Yeah,
were actually really good on the day, and I thought they
yeah,
deserved the win. Obviously the spotlight's going to be on Ole, Man United, whatever not, but don't discredit Watford. I thought they were fantastic on the day. They
yeah,
took their chances well. And they exploited Man United's weaknesses, which most teams are
yeah.
doing at the moment. But still, you've got to beat what's in front of you, man.
That's true. That's true. I guess there's not much to say, but it'll be.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
interested. I'm interested to see what the reaction after Ollie's sack, because I think for a long time a lot of people went unchecked and unblamed because Ollie was the scapegoat. But now a
yeah,
lot of things
yeah,
are going to be exposed, and I think Michael Carrick has a job on his hands, but he just really needs to galvanize the troops, tell them what's up, and just try to lift the morale as much as possible. And I
yeah,
think
definitely,
it would be fine. I don't think
definitely, yeah.
they have the players to make it work, Alan. It should be fine. So aside from that, just yeah, United fans, tell us what you think if you're watching, and let us know what you think about that whole situation, and probably who would you like as a candidate. I think we spoke about this in one of our early videos, and there are a few candidates out there, but Al pointed out Eric Ten Hag, and the job that he's done at Ajax, and I think that's a good shout as well. I think Zidane, with his track record with Ronaldo and some of those big names that
Yeah,
we've mentioned,
yeah.
I think is someone else who could, I think he could make a difference as well. But we will see. We will see when time goes. So moving on from that match and the whole Oli situation to the rest of the teams, I guess we will start at the top of the table with goal scoring
If-
defense FCL.
yeah,
I no longer Chelsea FC, it's goal scoring defense
yeah.
FC
Who
with all
who needs
their
strikers? Who needs
yeah,
strikers, man?
exactly. Their defensive players are getting the goals. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
know.
I watched that Chelsea and Leicester game, and it was
Mm,
another convincing performance. But El,
yeah,
one thing I wanted to speak to you about that Chelsea game, which I found really interesting. So I was watching the first half of that match, and Chelsea weren't really as efficient in the first 15 minutes, obviously, until Kante got the goal. Right, I think
mm,
once Rudiger got the goal, everything
yeah,
opened up, right? So Rudiger got
yeah,
the goal
yeah.
first from a corner,
From a corner, yeah,
right? So until Kante scored, I could see Tuchel just shouting at the players. He was even
yeah,
having a go
yeah,
at Kante just
yeah,
before Kante scored, you know. And Chelsea were playing fine because we know that Chelsea plays expansive. They play with the wing backs and wide. They're a very wide team, They're wide
right, yeah,
attacking team, right? So basically, they have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. They have seven players attacking, including Reece James and Chilwell, and three players at the back they're covering, right?
yeah,
So they
yeah,
definitely have their roles there, and I think Tuchel has made that clear. But I saw him just slating the team, shouting at the team, taking notes even before halftime. I think before halftime, three times he went to his notepad and was taking notes. And you can see he's like an absolute perfectionist. Even though the team was playing well, he was still spotting like little weaknesses, right? And
yeah,
he was making
yeah,
them work on those weaknesses. It was kind of funny because he was having a go at Kante, and then Kante just decided to take the ball, run through the whole midfield, and take a shot from outside the box and scored. And he looked surprised as well, but he was like, "Okay, wow, good reply,"
yeah.
you know.
And what a goal!
And what a goal it was! What a goal it was! Exactly, Al. And I have to say that team, Al, um, just the efficiency of Ben Chilwell and Reece James, knowing when to go up, knowing when to stay back. They just add because with the five players there, which are Jorginho, Kante, Mount, Hudson-Odoi, and Havertz, they're just supporting them in attack, you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you've got Rudiger and Chaloba, they're covering at the back. So, yeah, I felt it was a really strong performance. I tried to find some weaknesses in it, but I couldn't because Chelsea was so efficient and they kept the clean sheet as well. And Mendy had a good few
yeah.
saves. But it's
And he had
obvious
a
here.
very good save from Amarte, I think. Was it Amarte? Amarte
Yes.
had a thunderbolt strike.
Yeah, exactly. And what I think here is basically Al that Tuchel is just a perfectionist and he knows what he's doing. He's a master at his craft. He knows how to make sure that the players don't even fall off or switch off for even a second, right?
Yeah,
And he's constantly on your back, hounding you. But eventually, that's what you need. A lot of people might say he's too much of a perfectionist or he shouts too much or blah, blah, blah. But he looks like someone who really does not take things lightly. He looks like
yeah,
someone
he does. He's
who is a
very,
winner.
very assertive. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
He
wants to
is.
assert that same character that he brings out into his players, and you can see that very well because I look at the Chelsea players and I say, "Wow, you guys are really Tuchel's men." I don't think of anything else when I look at Chelsea players. I say they
Yeah, they're
are
playing for
really,
him. They're
they
certainly
really are.
playing for him. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
I thought Chelsea were great.
Not much to say
Yeah.
about Leicester L, because they did look Like,
No, but I like to ask you, Jerry. I like to ask you:
yeah,
is the next managerial casualty going to be Brendan Rodgers? Because it's just not happening for them at Leicester.
yeah.
Apart
It
from the win
seems
against Man
like that.
United,
It seems like that. It
they
seems like
they
that.
and Didi looked really poor,
Yeah.
on Saturday, and I
Even
thought
Casper
Jamie
Schmeichel,
Vardy was,
Casper Schmeichel as well. He's always that guy who's very confident. He's very solid.
yeah,
Even he was
yeah,
making mistakes passing out from
yeah,
deep as well.
exactly, exactly, yeah, yeah. So I think Leicester tried to match Chelsea with the formation, right? 3-4-3,
Yeah.
right? But it
Yes.
didn't work, backfired massively. I thought even their lineup also, I questioned Brendan Rodgers for not playing Madison and
Yeah.
Kelechi and Nacho, because he didn't
Yeah.
start with them, isn't it? And I'm thinking, why did you start with your best players? Why
Okay.
did you start with Lookman and Harvey Barnes? Okay, Harvey Barnes, I can get it. I think they wanted to have more width. Harvey Barnes gives you width. He runs and he's direct. But I thought he should have started at least with Iheanacho, because essentially 2-0 down halftime, I think they were, basically Chelsea had one foot on the game already after that. I think it was very
Okay.
difficult for Leicester to come in. But hey, you know what? I think honestly, this continues on. That could be the next managerial casualty, man. But again, Leicester, they don't operate like this. I think Leicester, they operate a little bit differently. The owner has got a very, very positive way of dealing with the club. But again, results business, right? We never know. We never know what's going to happen. And if results don't go Leicester's way, then there might be another manager. Ole
Yeah.
Gunnar Solskjaer
Because
might be taking
right
charge of
now I'm
Leicester.
looking
Who
at the
knows?
table. You might. I was
Yeah.
looking at the table and Leicester City. It's not a comfortable position, definitely,
Yeah.
but still,
It's
it's
not.
not a
Yeah.
completely bad position as well. But what I do think is that they will put their faith in Brendan Rodgers, because let's not forget that he did get a trophy for them last year after a long time, and
Mm,
it was a big thing, him winning the FA Cup for them last year. And they have made progress into Europe. But what I do think is that I don't think they would sack him prematurely, as in, just an impulsive action. I think it would come after a lot of deliberate, like, a lot of contemplation
yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and thinking. But what I do feel, if Leicester starts to drop further down the table,
Mm,
basically, and drop into the bottom five, his job is going
yeah.
to be under pressure for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll never know. We'll have to wait and see, man.
Yeah, because
I
L,
just,
that bottom six, right? That bottom
yeah.
six consists of Aston Villa, Watford, Leeds, Burnley, Norwich, and Newcastle, right? Aston Villa, Watford, Norwich, and Newcastle all have new managers now, and will be
Yeah.
looking to climb the table. I mean, Norwich just got their second win of the season last
Mm,
over the weekend.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Watford are slowly
Massive for
climbing
them,
up
huh?
the table. Yeah, Watford as well. 2 wins for Ranieri, and they're climbing up.
Yeah.
Newcastle now, they haven't got a win yet, but they have Eddie Howe now at the helm.
Yeah.
So
That
Brendan
might
Rodgers
change.
is
That might
going to
soon
have to pick
change.
it up. Exactly,
Yeah.
because below him is Southampton, Brentford, Aston Villa, Watford, Leeds, Burnley, Norwich, and
Yeah.
Newcastle. And they're not really far off Leicester, I feel.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
around the
Exactly.
same form, you know. Um, so it's going to be an interesting end of the season. Really, it's going to be an interesting one, dude, because all these teams now that are bottom, they have new managers and new impetus, sort of. So yeah, I
Yeah.
guess
Definitely.
yeah. So aside from Leicester, there's really not much to mention there about them, but just to see how well they can sort of pick up and get their season starting really. But with Chelsea, L, it's hard to find weaknesses in them. I mean, if your defenders score, L, it just shows how confident the team is. It's
Yeah. No. Definitely.
they're
Definitely. I
almost
think.
taking the piss now. They're almost like
Yeah.
there's a bravado to the way Chelsea play. It's
Yeah.
like they know
Yeah.
you're not going to break them down, and they slowly just weigh down at you with the pressing and the bearing forward. And this is without a team without Lukaku, a team without
Yeah.
Werner.
Exactly. That's another good point. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're not playing with that star player, and yet the
exactly,
results are being racked
exactly,
up like this. Yeah.
exactly. Chelsea
Yeah.
fans, I have to say, this might be the season for you guys to do it, because if Tuchel fails to win the league this season, I feel there's going to be a few questions asked, but I think they're in prime position to really, because if they can stay defensively solid, I don't see any team that's breaking them down or stopping that run,
No,
unless
honestly, they're my pick, lah. They're my pick for the favorites. I know
yeah,
Liverpool and
yeah,
Liverpool and City are the fancier pick. I think they
yeah,
play much more fancier football. But I think Chelsea has that resoluteness towards them that just tells you they might go on this run and they look really good. So yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with you, man. I'm with you on
yeah,
that.
yeah. So Chelsea fans looking forward to that, I guess. So moving on, either of the City game, Liverpool game now.
I watched Liverpool game, of
Okay,
course.
right.
I watched highlights of the City game. They were really good, honestly, man.
Yeah, yeah, they
I
were.
think one of the best performances I've seen by City this season.
You saw
Liverpool and
Rodri's
Arsenal.
goal, right?
Oh
Rodri's
yeah,
goal.
man.
Even
Ooh,
he's starting to have a knack for goal scoring now. It's like,
exactly, exactly.
God.
It's
Yeah,
gonna be really close this season. I think
yeah,
on a very
yeah,
neutral perspective, I think it's really good that they've got three teams gunning for the title at least this season. I think that's
yeah.
fantastic.
No, as a Liverpool fan, I'm not looking forward to the African Cup of Nations. We're gonna
Yeah,
lose
I know. I
some.
was gonna touch on that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah. We should because I
yeah,
mean Jota, he works well with them, and I feel
yeah,
he's going to
exactly.
fit them there, and it'll
Yeah,
be interesting
yeah.
to see whether in January Klopp's just gonna try and bring someone in, I think we'll have
He
hardly.
could. He
Yeah,
might. He might.
he
Really, he
could
might. Yeah.
offload already, and it'll be a good chance because Al, you do the Liverpool
Arsenal.
analysis today, Liverpool
Yeah,
Arsenal analysis, right? You just tell me what you think and everything, and then we'll
yeah,
discuss
yeah,
it in
yeah,
the end, right? But just mention the Minamino part because what Klopp said after the game was that
yeah.
out of all the players, he voted Minamino as the player of the week or player of
Mm,
that match purely
mm,
because he's so efficient in the sense that he can play four positions that Liverpool were missing. So he can play in the midfield, he can play the
yeah.
left wing, right wing, he can play as a false nine
Middle.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So he has four roles there, and Klopp says that's going to become very useful. And Minamino has been slowly taking his chances, dude. And I
yeah.
feel
He
he might
has.
be the one to be that midfielder for us to, not the Bellingham, Wijnaldum type midfielder, but the Coutinho type midfielder,
Correct, correct, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. A
So
playmaker sort of role.
you just give your analysis and just touch on that point a little bit, because I felt what Klopp said there was it might be a revelation for the future, because
Yeah,
once Mane and Salah go for their internationals, we're gonna have to rely on him, like, and
yeah. Don't
the
forget
way he's
Keita.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's well, but Keita is not going to be much of a miss, lah, to be honest. I feel Thiago and Chamberlain, even Chamberlain played really well. I thought. I mean,
Yeah,
attacking wise, he didn't really do much, but defensively, the amount of times he had made the run into the defensive box and cleared the ball off,
mm,
like there were
mm,
so many
mm.
times he basically marked Saka out of the game in certain
Yeah,
situations because Saka he plays on the right wing, but he drifts centrally. He comes
yeah,
centrally to connect crosses or have headers. And there were two
yeah. And
times
I
Chamberlain tried
remember
to,
Chamberlain
yeah,
was just
trying to
made
follow
a
him into the box.
tackle. Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember. Yeah.
All right, so we'll just continue, eh?
Ken, like we're gonna do Liverpool Arsenal now, right?
Yes, Liverpool Arsenal, then we'll do the City Everton and then mention a few of the others, lah.
Okay, chun, chun.
We'll try to round it off by 11:30 latest, lah. 11:20, try 11:20, 11:30 like that.
Okay, cool, cool.
To pick up the pace a little bit. All right.
You guys are live in
So,
3, 2.
so moving on from that Chelsea analysis there. Um, Another big game over the weekend. Liverpool's
Liverpool
favorite,
Arsenal.
yeah, Liverpool's favorite opponents. Their hunting team, the team that they love to come. I don't think Arsenal fans really like to come to Anfield. It's not really been a happy hunting ground for them.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah,
just
could you tell me about the match, Al? Because I
no,
saw a few
I
Arsenal fans saying after the game that it's all great doing this against the Leicesters and the Watfords and all, but I mean these are what
yeah,
it gives.
yeah. I was yeah, no, I get that, and just to touch upon something that I saw on Twitter, right now before the game, 4 hours before the game, the Arsenal Twitter handle updated their fans saying that there's 4 hours to the game, bolding the letter 4 and then highlighting Arshavin's 4 goals. And after the game, because Liverpool won 4-0, that tweet just blew, man. And everybody was just bantering us in. So,
Yeah,
that was one of the highlights also of post
yeah,
game. But I watched that game, and honestly, Jerry, when I watched that game, I thought Arsenal were decent
yeah,
for about half an hour of that game. I thought they were in it to a certain degree. I thought Liverpool.
But I have to say, Ramsdale certainly kept them in the
Yeah,
game.
Ramsdale kept them in it, but I thought that they could have done better. I thought Smith Rowe and Aubameyang and those guys, Lacazette, they could have done better. But I didn't feel for any certain extent that it was going to be another City Arsenal game at that point, at least, right? And if you remember during that game, there was a turning point between the managers, right?
Right.
Arteta and Klopp.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When
Arteta
that
beat Klopp,
happened,
oh my God. That
yeah.
was so awesome. That was so
When
awesome.
that happened, straight away, man, Liverpool looked at that and said, hey, you know what? These fellas are touching our manager. We're going to show them. And all of a sudden, boom, 4-0.
Because
And you know
basically the
what's going-
situation came after Mane and Tomiyasu both went for the ball. Right? And Mane didn't intentionally try to touch him. It was I think it was a very clean attempt to get the ball. I didn't see any malice in that at all.
Yeah.
But Arteta flat out, right? And he lost his cool first, right?
Yeah.
And then Klopp responded, and then both the benches got up, and the fans immediately.
Obviously, yeah.
And
did Arteta lose his cool first? Was it Arteta that lost
it
his
was
cool first?
Arteta who lost his cool first because he was shouting and basically saying that's a foul, he should be carded. And Klopp was saying, are you stupid? That's not a foul, and then that's where it kicked off. I think.
Right.
You know?
No, honestly, watching that foul in real time, I thought there was really nothing that much.
Yeah,
not
it
so
didn't
much
look
malice in it or
it would have been a
whatever.
lot worse actually.
Yeah. No, but Liverpool rolled on the style after that. I think turning point or not, I think they picked up a few gears. And I just want to mention a few things about Liverpool.
Trent Alexander-Arnold, the creative genius.
Yeah, TAA, the best right foot since David Beckham, people have been saying. So yeah, and I think few things to just point out. Obviously, we've been talking a lot about the front three, but I think in games like this, Oxlade-Chamberlain did a lot of defensive duties that if you look at Oxlade-Chamberlain historically coming from Arsenal, the defensive duties that he did in that Arsenal game, I thought that was fantastic. I think Klopp, for one, would have definitely been really proud with that. And the thing is, watching Liverpool games, I haven't really rated Thiago that well. I thought he's been having somewhat of a slow season last season, didn't really come into the team, didn't really perform well, even this season for that matter. But I thought alongside Fabinho against Arsenal, he was fantastic. I thought he was confident. I think also that was down to perhaps Arsenal not really aggressively pressing onto him.
Yeah, I thought Partey had quite
time on the ball. Yeah, yes, but he was good. He looked good. Yeah. And again, this is definitely going to be giving Klopp a good headache in terms of options, right? And again, the other thing is also I saw Minamino coming off the bench, getting a goal, good for his confidence. And Klopp, of course, in the post-match conference mentioned that he was one of the players that was performing really well and what he's been doing in training. And of course, the goal warranted that definitely. And I'm just looking at that. I'm thinking on perspective of Jurgen Klopp, right? I'm thinking of this. I'm thinking in January, Liverpool are going to be losing arguably two of their most threatening forwards in Salah and Mane.
Yeah, and Naby Keita as well.
Yeah, Naby Keita as well. And I'm thinking of that, and I'm balancing it out against Chelsea and Man City. I'm thinking this is where Liverpool could really struggle. But looking at the Liverpool-Arsenal game, if you've got Minamino firing like this, if Klopp can tell Minamino, look, I need you to be my guy in January. I need you to be the guy. Because Minamino is versatile.
Yeah.
When he played in the League Cup, you saw him play in the middle. You saw him drifting out left.
He played on the right wing and the left wing. Do you think what Klopp might do, just to predict here, do you think he might go for Firmino in the middle, obviously the centre forward there?
Yeah, he could.
Jota on the left and Minamino on the right, that could work. Obviously with Origi there in the picture as well, Those are
Firmino, historically looking at him, Klopp has always mentioned this in his conferences. He always says that Firmino's off the ball work, things that you don't see on your live TV, is just so good to watch, and how he brings the others. He's like the conductor to the orchestra, in a lot of ways. And if he could do that same work to benefit someone like Minamino, then of course Liverpool are Liverpool are all right for January. Of course, easier
Yeah,
said than done. I haven't
yeah,
looked at their fixture list in January, but of course,
yeah,
if Minamino can be firing, if he can get his confidence right, because they've got the team behind it. I think that's the silver lining perhaps towards this little problem of this African Cup of Nations. But on a whole, Liverpool looked really good. I think that's been consistent over the last few weeks. But moving on a little bit to Arsenal, Jerry. Um, we've been praising them, right? We've been
yeah.
we've been praising them.
And to be honest, I felt that I felt that they could have done a little bit better on that right wing. So Arsenal's left hand side was very, very vulnerable, right? I think the
Yeah,
Nuno
yeah,
Tavares side was very vulnerable, and it
yeah,
compounded in his pass to Jota, his misplaced pass to
yeah,
Jota, and Jota scoring the second goal. I think from
yeah,
then on onwards, Liverpool were just attacking down that side of the wing. See, Salah was uncovered for his goal, and Arnold just crossing the ball in for the Minamino tap in as well, all from that right hand side. That was the only weakness I saw really in that Arsenal team. Aside
but
from
but
that, I
but
couldn't really say much. But what did you think?
yeah, but Jerry, I look at it, I'm thinking I've been praising Arsenal over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
It's great to beat your Leicesters and whatnot, and come off convincingly, and people waxing lyrical over their goalkeeper and whatnot, and so on and so forth. But
yeah,
they've been losing to the top teams, and they might go and beat Man United. They're playing Man United somewhere along 2 weeks now or whatever, but they lost to City, lost to Chelsea. Now, of course, they lost to Liverpool 4-0. Do you think Arteta's the right man? I mean, is it just primarily top five that Arsenal
mhm,
are looking for? I mean, is this another case of I've reached my ceiling? I can't go any more than that. Because
yeah,
for the first half an hour, I thought they looked all right. I didn't think that they were spectacular, but I thought they were in the game, thanks to the keeper, of course, a lot of times. But
yeah.
after the goal started going in, it looked almost a dead and buried game. But do you think Arteta's the right guy, man? I mean, what do you think?
I I think he almost, I mean, it seems like a poison chalice now, but he almost has that Ollie role, where he did sort of add something different to Arsenal in terms of recruitment, in terms of a style of play there, right? But I think the best managers out there have had the experience, right?
Yeah,
This is Arteta's first job, really. I mean, he used to put out the cones for Pep Guardiola, right? And
yeah,
this is his
yeah,
first proper job. So I definitely think that at Arsenal is a hard place to learn on the job and to win things and to get them to win the league and everything like that. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's definitely going to take more time than that and than what I think a lot of Arsenal fans are willing to give, right? Because he looks like he can galvanize the players. He can get them to play the style he wants and everything like that. And I think the players also have a certain amount of respect for him,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But I think there are still a few missing pieces in that Arsenal team. I think they could do with another midfielder. I think having Sambi Lakonga there, right, to support Thomas Partey, he's still a young kid. I mean, he
no,
shouldn't be
lacking
playing every
experience,
single game.
definitely.
Exactly,
Yeah, yeah,
right? I think that defense is fine. I think long term, towards the end of the season, I think we'll be seeing a lot more of Kieran Tierney because I think his maturity is going to be there, right? I think there are a few immature moments from Nuno Tavares, and he's still a young kid, so I'm not going to slate him or anything like that. He has had good performances, and there's a lot of potential there. There's a very high ceiling, but I do feel Arsenal's front line needs a little bit of because I feel Alba is slowly falling off. And obviously, maybe he's just hit a bad run of form. But last year he
yeah,
had a very horrible year, right? And a lot of fans are questioning whether this year would be the year for him to step up again. But
yeah.
I think Arsenal need to make a decision because they either let go of Lacazette in the summer, right, and keep Abba basically and re-sign him to a new deal, or they lose. I mean, they sell Alba and give Lacazette a new deal.
Either one, either
Either
one. Yeah,
one, or
yeah,
even both could go because I mean, Arteta, Al, he's not gonna,
yeah,
he's not. He wants a hardworking player, right?
yeah, yeah,
And I think Lacazette's a hardworking player, right? But he doesn't have a defined striker role there now.
mm,
because they're trying to accommodate Aubameyang in the team, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think Arsenal need to go out there and just get like I mean I saw a lot of talk about this Dusan Vlahovic guy, and his few goals against Milan over the weekend. I think Arsenal need to go for a striker like that. A striker is young, energetic, and can bring sort of and can work well with Saka and Emil Smith Rowe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I see a lot of the times when Emil Smith Rowe and Saka are attacking, Aubameyang is trying to catch up with them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes
He doesn't have the pace. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, he's the weak link, and he's only going
Yeah.
to lose pace. I think Auba right now, at this point in his career, he could give it 2 more years at Arsenal, but I do think he would move on to a league where there's a lot less pressure. I feel at Arsenal there's just too much pressure and too much pressure on his shoulders, because he is the captain and he's leading from the front, right? And it's not easy. It's not an easy role, and I do think he would like a role that's a lot more that he can just focus on his game and focus on his goals. Right now he's the captain. Right now he's leading the line. Right now he's the guy who's supposed to be galvanizing the troops. Right now he's the main attacking threat that Arsenal had for many years. There's just too much responsibility, I feel. I think they need to take the pressure off Alba and put it on some young kid who's willing
Yeah.
to do the
There's
graft.
just too much of emphasis on
Yeah.
him, and of course, when he
Yeah.
doesn't deliver, then question marks all
Yeah.
over. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. There's a lot of decisions for Arteta to make. So I'm not going to sit here and say, no, Arteta is not the right man for the job. I do feel that there are better managers out there and better managers who can do things a lot faster. But it seems like Arsenal are going to play this waiting game and just
Yeah.
see what we can do. Who knows?
Yeah.
Another transfer window, and he might actually have the full squad he needs, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I definitely say that Arteta is not an elite manager. I don't even think he's a world-class manager. I think he's a professional manager. I'm not going to call
And-
Arteta world-class after 2 years in the job at Arsenal.
And this was a telling game, because I was really interested to look at how Arsenal were going to approach this game.
exactly.
Because they were in a good run of form. Let's not forget that. They were in a good run of form, and I didn't think they would win, but I thought they would have given it a go. I thought, predictions before the game, I was thinking of maybe a 2-1 Liverpool,
Yeah.
or maybe somewhere along the lines of, say, Arsenal making a draw 1-1 or something like that. And I thought that would have been a good result for them. Honestly, going to Anfield, getting a draw, that would have been a good result for them. But it all just fell off the rails a little bit after the first goal, and
Yeah.
mistakes.
Trent was just having too much space, to be honest.
Yeah, no, he was
Bit.
definitely, and funnily, they were trying to play out from the back.
Yeah.
Obviously, sometimes suicidal against Liverpool, and playing out from the back really badly. Ben White made a few costly errors that did not cost a goal, obviously, but could have very
Yeah.
easily.
I mean,
This
that-
concerns.
that trying to play out from the back didn't work when Nuno Tavares passed it to Jota. But I just wanted to ask you, El, what a performance by Diego Jota. Diogo Jota, they call him.
Yeah.
And Trent, obviously. But what a performance from Jota. I mean, like, another underrated piece of business, I feel, for Liverpool.
Yeah. Now, I think it's slowly showing that he's one of Klopp's favorite players to start.
Yeah.
And I think apart from the hard work, which obviously is very vital in the Klopp team, it's very clear that you can see that he has that he has a touch of grace.
Yeah.
It looks like he fits into this Liverpool team so well. It looks like he plays well with players like Salah and your Manes and all of these things and so on. And he's hit the ground running. I mean, if you really think about it, I think he's fantastic. Of course, the injury didn't do him really good, and he missed a few games. But yeah, I mean, Jota is another one. How he plays with your likes of Minamino and all of these players in January is very vital, because he's been getting the goals. Let's not forget that as well. All right. And he took his goal really well. I know, of course, it's one of those things where people say, professionals should be able to score this, but you still need that skill to take it past the keeper, very coolly slot it into the net, and small little details like this, and I think that he is definitely a vital part for the league, for the Champions League, because I see Klopp definitely selecting him a lot, and you never know when these players come back from the African Cup of Nations, fatigue, all of these things. These are things which I'm sure playing on the manager's mind, right? So definitely he is going to have to step up. Firmino definitely has to step up. Minamino has to step up. all these players have to step up. Thiago and all
yeah.
these fellas.
There
Yeah,
could be
but
even a chance for some of the Liverpool youngsters like Harvey Elliott coming back from his
Harvey
injury,
Elliott, yeah,
Kai
exactly.
Gordon, who's been on the bench. Even
Yeah,
Tyler Morton came on for Liverpool
yeah.
a bit. Yeah. But yeah, moving on from Chelsea, Liverpool. Now we go to the third best team in England, I guess. No, I'm just kidding. It's the second best team in England.
They're not
Liverpool's
even the best team in Manchester, mate. Oh, Man City fans are going to be
Yeah, no,
clamoring me, lah.
yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, City.
luckily just to
That's
say, but yeah, I mean, I watched that City game, Al, and they were just steamrolled past Everton.
they
I
were
think
they were
even Rafa with all his stinkers there, it didn't really work for them, and
different class, man. Just different
yeah, very
class.
different class because in terms of possession, in terms of intensity, you cannot fault that team, right?
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think Raheem Sterling had a really good game, and obviously, I mean, he went for a different starting lineup there. He started with Cole Palmer
yeah,
in the middle, Phil
yeah,
Foden on
yeah.
the
He
left,
did.
and
Yeah,
Raheem Sterling on the right. And I felt that Raheem Sterling had a good game, and he could make there could be a resurgence. I think he's just lost
yeah.
form. I'm not going to
Mm.
say he's dropped as a player or he's no longer the player he was. I think he just has a lack of confidence and a little bit of dropped form there with all the attacking options that City have. I was impressed with Sterling, especially him getting the goal and just his overall work rate and everything. I think he can work well with Phil Foden, Gabriel Jesus, and he might be at this moment a better option compared to Grealish. I think Grealish still has a higher ceiling. He has a lot of time, right? But Raheem Sterling right now can give you a lot more than what Grealish does, I think, to be honest. You know? And did you see Cancelo's pass for the third goal? Or was it sorry, it was the first goal, right?
It was Cancelo's pass. He got the assist for Sterling's
Yeah,
goal.
yeah, for Sterling's goal.
And
Yes.
what a
And
pass, right?
what
Yeah,
a pass
and
it was, man. Oh my
eye
days.
of the needle,
Yeah,
Sterling. Yeah,
outside
1-0
foot,
City. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, Cancelo is looking a beautiful player, man. Like
yeah,
legitimately, I questioned his arrival. I was like, did City even need to buy Joao Cancelo?
yeah,
But
yeah,
he's just made that left back spot his own, and
yeah.
really, he's become one of the important attacking players in Guardiola's team in terms of these attacking fullbacks and everything, and Bernardo Silva as well. Hardworking is always there to get the half chances to look for those opportunities. But
I think,
my
yeah,
God,
I think this
what a
is,
goal! What a goal from Rodrigo!
yeah, man, what a goal. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. City
Rodrigo
just
doing
looked
the
so good on the
ceremony.
day, lah.
Yeah, dude,
And
that
these
goal
goals are
was
definitely icing on the cake.
such a belter, bro. Like no chance at all for the keeper to save that. You know,
And
and
I just want to add one thing. Looking at Bernardo Silva, right? I think this is his best season so far for Man City,
yeah,
lah. I think he has
one of
been
one of
one of their standout, lah. For this year, I think he
definitely
has been just fantastic. And yeah,
because
good
he
point
offers
on
so
the,
much. He can play anywhere in that front three, but right now he's playing in the midfield tree.
yeah,
You know.
he was next to Rodri, wasn't he?
Rodri, yes, he was
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
right side of Rodri, so he was playing just behind Sterling, you know.
yeah,
And another one of those perfect players to have in the team. He's a little bit like Jota, I would say, maybe a little bit like Firmino as well, in the way that he just attacks the ball, tries
yeah,
to look for killer passes,
yeah,
and he's
yeah.
always dangerous in terms of on that right wing, especially he has a wand of a left foot, and I think I mean I look at the City's team. It's just really going to be a matter of who can have a shock victory over City and sort of
Yeah.
derail their. But I don't see. I mean, they're not as reliant on Sadio Mane and Salah like Liverpool are. They have a lot of options there, and honestly, I feel they could be a very strong second, or they could even go on a run like they did last year and usurp Chelsea. I think the ball is now in Tuchel's court, right? And Guardiola will be trying to attack that court and get that ball back,
Yeah, yeah. No,
Because
I mean,
I have to say, Al, this City team, they work better under pressure. I feel when the pressure is off and they're chill, that's
started
when
getting lax a bit, lah. They get lax a bit.
exactly. But when the
Yeah.
pressure comes, that's when they seem to perform like ruthlessly.
I think when I look at Man City, this is why when I look at them, I'm thinking, yeah, the pressure thing definitely could pick out. And when I watched the game against Everton, again, I was thinking, Benitez, he's very, very organized. He came up with a 4-4-1-1, and I think that this is going to be a team. This is going to be a game where City is probably going to have to work extra hard. But it was class all over, and Everton were just nowhere near for the whole 90 minutes. They were second best for almost the whole game. Very, very honestly. And City definitely, if you look at their team, I think they didn't play Grealish, right? Grealish did not play, isn't it?
No,
Did he come off the?
didn't
Yeah,
play.
he didn't
Yeah.
play. Riyad Mahrez came off the bench, and
Jason McAtee even came off the bench.
yeah, they still have.
James McAtee, a youngster
they-
right now, a midfield youngster under 21.
There's
Yeah.
still Gabriel Jesus. Phil Foden is still growing. Is definitely happy days for Man City looking forward. But of course, I still think that Chelsea would have to drop points no matter how good City are, and I think that's going to be that's going to be an interesting thing come to season ending, because I think City definitely look really very good. So it's interesting, and the thing that I look at it most is I enjoy it. It's going to be a 3-horse race, I think, for almost the whole part of the season. Unless of course West Ham miraculously joins the party as well, which I don't think is going to happen. But hey, never know. But I think for the majority of it, three of them are going to be pushing each other. But yeah, man, City on the day, fantastic. Just can't stop saying enough good about them, because I think they were really good. One of the best games that I've watched Man City play this season so far.
Right. Yeah. And really, I think it's just a 3-horse race this year. And
Yeah.
By next year, we'll sort of get to know, but really good performance. So
Yeah.
we're sort of running out of time, guys. So we're just going to quickly go through some of the games there. I mean, I think this was a goal-scoring weekend, right?
Yeah.
Match week 12 is going to be seen as one of the biggest goal-scoring seasons, I think. I mean, match weeks for this season, right? A few honorable mentions obviously go out to Aston Villa, and I think they were very intense on the start. I think Brighton had the better start, but Aston Villa had the better last 10 minutes, and they really killed the game there at the end. I think wonderful goal by
Ollie Watkins, Tyron Mings.
Even Tyron Mings with his contribution, and they look like they're up for it. I mean, the fans look like they're up for it. The players look like they're up for it. And this don't get. I mean, let's not even like. Let's be real here. That's a Brighton team that's good, Al. And
it is. Yeah.
I thought would get the better of Aston Villa. I thought it might be a draw or loss for Stevie's first game, but I mean, it was a really good really good performance there by Aston Villa, and I'm looking forward to see how he galvanizes the team, because towards the end of the game, the energy levels were still really high, and ultimately that's what won the game, because both the goals came 84th minute, 89th minute.
Yeah. No, and the other thing is that, which is a thing which happens to everybody. Aston Villa, I feel, are going to be going on a new manager bounce now, which means that they're going to be starting to rack up the points, right? But yeah, I mean,
go up the table we go.
Troops, and his favorite songs. Yeah, but definitely, I think good on Villa. I thought, and again, just to touch a bit on Steven Gerrard, I think coming from Rangers, I think this is definitely a step up for him. And I think it's a good. Aston Villa is a good club, heritage club. Good set of fans, proper fans, and again, I think they're going to rack up the results now. Obviously, with a new manager and whatnot.
Test, I think next week to see Aston Villa go up against Crystal Palace. Interesting battle between Vieira and Gerrard. It's like early 2000s.
Oh yeah. Kicking it back old school, 2000 style.
Vieira, Gerrard off the pitch now together. I mean, going against each other on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Obviously, another honorable mention goes to Spurs. I feel, just to quickly give you guys a run through, Al, I'm just going to do a quick run through. You can interrupt me anytime. I think Spurs were the second best in that first half. I think Leeds started the game way better. They were really intense. They got that goal, got the first goal. But Al, there was a comeback. and the team
Yeah.
eventually did push through, and Sergio Reguilon got that goal. Højbjerg got that goal. Højbjerg looks a hell of a player under Conte, by the way, and looks to be one of Conte's favorite players. Still a lot of room for improvement in that Spurs team, but I already see a lot of changes in terms of intensity, in terms of just calmness, even on the ball, and keeping possession as well. Something I didn't see under Nuno. And they're relentless in terms of attacking, always overlapping. Wing backs always making those overlapping runs, And I think it was a good first game at Spurs Stadium for
Yeah.
Conte, looking to bounce from there. So aside from that, that was a good game. That was not that bad match. Another
Conte getting his first
honorable,
win as well.
yeah, exactly. Another honorable mention goes out to Wolves. I think Wolves have had the best team outside the top four at the moment, top five. Yeah, just behind Arsenal in sixth position, and they've been quietly doing their business as well. I think there was a little bit of a slow start in his first three games, right, for the Bruno Lage. But as you can see now, Wolves are slowly sort of catching back that form and being clinical, And they kept a clean sheet against a very good West Ham team now. They kept
Yeah.
West Ham quiet. And Norwich City with a win. My God, I never knew I'd say that. I never thought I'd say that in a long time. Norwich
Yeah.
City with a
Yeah.
win against Southampton. Um,
Back-to-back
Burnley
wins,
Crystal
man.
Palace with
And even
yeah,
they got
exactly.
back-to-back wins.
Burnley Crystal Palace with a 3-3 draw, and Newcastle and Brentford with a 3-3 draw. Goals, goals, goals galore. But who
Yep.
can be the one with the solid defense, right? I think Aston Villa looked a bit vulnerable defensively, but on that day, they all worked hard and got the clean sheet.
Yeah, and they got the clean sheet.
Ultimately, at the bottom of the table, Al, is going to be the team that concedes the less goals.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think so as
Goal
well. Yeah.
scoring is fine, but you have to be defensively solid as well. If not, and Newcastle are yet to get their first win, right, Al? They're on 6 draws and 6 losses right now.
You know what would be really funny? It would be really funny for Newcastle with all this takeover, and they're going to be the next Man City to be relegated this season. Yeah, but so I mean, they might achieve their objectives. They might win the league next season, just the Division 1 lah, unfortunately.
Yeah, sorry, all you Toonies out there.
Sorry to the two Nami Geordies.
Yeah, but it looks like it's going to take a little bit of effort there to get off the bottom because they haven't won a game this season yet.
Right? Yeah, they haven't. Yeah,
they're definitely going to have to start winning a few games. So I guess that's all. Round up for this week. Who would be your team of the week and player of the week, Al?
I think my team of the week would be. I'm torn between City and Chelsea. I think I'll say City because I think that they were just Rolls-Roycing all over the park, and I think my
Liverpool
player.
fans not going to be happy with you. Huh?
Yeah, no, I mean, Liverpool were good. They were good, but I mean, it's against Arsenal. I think we kind of would have expected it anyway. But I thought City.
Oh.
No, I mean, Arsenal. I don't want to get an Arsenal fans' back, but I thought City were just consistently good during the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It looked really solid. And who would be your player of the week?
Player of the week. That's a funny one. Who would be my player of the week? Player of the week. I'd say. I think I would go with. N'Golo Kantè. I think he was really good in the Chelsea game. I thought he was getting a good goal. I think Kantè would be my player of the week. Who's yours? Who's your player?
My team of the week is Chelsea because I feel that, I think it was a potential banana skin against Leicester there a little bit. But they just look, I mean, every time I watch Chelsea, like, the only thing is, like, I'm just waiting for them to score because I know they're not going to concede.
Yeah.
And I think, Chelsea were the team of the week for me.
Yeah.
The player of the week for me, I think, was Trent, if I'm being honest. Because
Trent had a damn good game as well. Yeah,
he had a really good game, I think. And because the thing is, Trent in this game, right, he didn't bomb forward as much because there was a defensive vulnerability against West Ham there, and they didn't want. I think Klopp asked him to stay back in that first half. But the times he did get up, his delivery was on point. His attacking sense is just always there, always finds the spots. And I think with the 2 assists, he gets player of the week for me, for sure. Yeah,
it's a good shout.
I guess we will leave Ham Roll of the week for now because there's one Hamroll that's no longer here. He's left his job, unfortunately. Nah, I'm not gonna call out Hamroll. but yeah, yeah.
Well,
So,
Harry Maguire is still playing, man. I mean,
oh, right, right, right,
he could
right.
very
Yeah.
well, take up captaincy duties for being
Yeah.
Ham Rule of the Week. Definitely.
Hamroll of the week, fridge of the week, all kinds
Breach
of
of
things.
the
for him
week,
as
yeah,
well.
cupping ears of the week, and all you name it whatever you want.
Oh man. All right, so that's been a good show for me, Jerry, and my buddy Al. Thank you
See
guys
you
for
guys,
listening.
man. Ciao,
Very
ciao.
soon. Take care. Sayonara. All right.